So our first match that we're going to be talking about is a very interesting matchup featuring a guy we've seen before who's kind of changed his moniker, changed his look, his persona up a little bit in D-Torch. And this guy, Wise Guy. Who's this Wise Guy? We love the new guys. We understand
Exactly.
that everybody's trying to get here and get their name out there. But this Wise Guy.
Well, what we know about Wise Guy is that he's heard about Phoenix Pro Wrestling. He has been in communication with a lot of other Bay Area wrestlers. And he said, "Hey, I know that you've been on the Phoenix Pro Wrestling shows. I want to get on a Phoenix Pro Wrestling show. Can you let the booking committee know that that I'd like to come up to Petaluma?" And we've heard good things. We know that he's he's an accomplished wrestler. I haven't heard of any titles that he's held, but he comes with a recommendation, and that's what Phoenix Pro Wrestling is all about: bringing in new talent, trying to find the best talent, and making this just a real proving ground for people to come in and just show what they have in the ring against all of the great talent that Phoenix Pro Wrestling has brought in.
From a personal perspective, I kind of love going in blind on a wrestler. I'm really excited to see new guys. It's like this could be the guy you end up really liking, that really appeals to your taste in wrestling.
And one thing that we talked about, remember the first show and we saw Jeff Cobb's name, right? And I had seen him once, and Jeff was somebody that Eric had really been on top of, really have been. And I was like, oh, I remember him, but he was kind of foggy because it had been a while since I'd seen him. And so I came into this match really excited to see what he could do. And all of a sudden, I just, was over the moon for this guy, right? And, like I was talking about, the new guys, you get this chance and you get to prove yourself. And if Wise Guy can come out and do what, a guy like D-Torch did his first night here, he had a very successful first time here in PPW. I mean, there's a lot of guys who have come here right from the get-go, shown their stuff, and have become top players in PPW. And you never know what you're going to see from a new guy from time to time. So I'm excited. I want to see what this guy brings to the table, Wise or not.
Everybody has to debut at some point, right? We're going to see wrestlers on the rest of this card that, we didn't know much when they started, and here they are 5 shows in on Phoenix Pro Wrestling. So I like the idea of, here's this guy, I'm unfamiliar with him. In a year, he could be one of the guys that I'm absolutely most looking forward to see. I like going in blind like that.
The other side of the ring, D-Torch, is someone that we do know something about. What are your memories of him? We know that he has a smaller build, faster athlete, exciting person who does connect well with the audience. He came in, he had a great response from the audience. It seemed like he was well known. He was a known entity to the fans. What do you remember about D-Torch?
I mean, he's a risk taker. He does a really good job of right from the get-go, really kind of pulling you in and really making you get behind the guy. And, him being small in stature, we've seen plenty of guys, your Manny Mars, your Will Roberts, who we're going to talk about later on, that come in. They're a little bit undersized, but then you see them in the ring and you realize, oh man, these guys, they can stand toe to toe with anybody. And Daniel, was part of a pretty good tag team at one point with
Virgil Flynn,
with the great Virgil Flynn, who was here at our first show. And that's someone that has been around a while. He's really someone that tries to take on any and all comers. And seeing a guy like him to open this show, we've had some really great crowds here at the Phoenix Theater, and a lot of them have been because of a guy like Torch getting everybody going from the start. I mean, we had, the Chico Hammers coming in and doing a great job, and along with the Sky Brothers, and so a guy like Daniel Torch comes in. I'm excited to see what he does to kind of jumpstart what should be a really good card for us.
It's one of the great things that Phoenix Pro Wrestling does, opening up with these really hot matches. It does tell the audience that you want to make sure that you come to the venue early so that you don't miss these opening matches.
The one thing I'll say is I think that this has a chance to really set the tone for, we always talk about up and down, these great cards we've been having here at the Phoenix Theater. This has a chance to really set a tone for a lot of these guys to follow. Like, everybody in the back is sitting back there. They're watching this stuff. They're saying, okay, what is this crowd going to be like? It's like, oh, man, now I have to follow that. Like, what am I going to be able to do? And, one of the things that I've seen from Daniel Torch, D-Torch as he's now known, is that he tries to set a great tone. And, with Wise Guy coming in, a new guy we don't know too much about, he's obviously going to be ready to go. So if I were to say anything about this match, I would say that get here early, and you might see two guys have the match of the night from the get-go. This should be really a lot of fun. And like you said, the earlier, the better. You might get to see something that is going to stick with you long after you come to this show.